20 Worst USA Towns to Live in 2026. Introduction. When people think about moving somewhere new, they often focus on affordable homes, good weather, and friendly neighborhoods. But not every town in America offers those advantages. Some communities face shrinking populations, aging infrastructure, limited job opportunities, struggling schools, and economic challenges that make daily life difficult for residents. In today's countdown, we're looking at 20 towns and cities that continue to face significant obstacles in 2026. These places aren't necessarily without good people or positive qualities. Many have rich histories and proud local cultures. However, when factors like income levels, employment opportunities, infrastructure conditions, population trends, housing quality, healthcare access, and future economic outlook are considered together, these locations face some of the biggest challenges in the country. Let's begin with number 20. Number 20, Cairo, Illinois. Sitting at the meeting point of the Mississippi and Ohio rivers, Cairo was once one of the most strategically important transportation hubs in America. During the 1800s and early 1900s, steamboats, railroads, and river commerce helped transform the city into a thriving center of trade. At one point, local leaders envisioned Cairo becoming a major Midwestern metropolis. Today, however, the reality is very different. The city's population has collapsed from over 15,000 residents in the mid-20th century to roughly 1,500 people. Empty buildings dominate portions of downtown, and entire neighborhoods contain vacant lots where homes once stood. The population is older than the national average, with many younger residents leaving in search of opportunities elsewhere. Economic opportunities remain limited. Median household incomes sit well below national averages, and employment options are concentrated in government services, transportation, healthcare support roles, and small local businesses. Residents often travel considerable distances for specialized shopping, entertainment, and higher-paying employment opportunities. Infrastructure remains one of Cairo's biggest concerns. Years of declining tax revenue have made maintenance difficult. While efforts have been made to stabilize certain areas, many streets, public facilities, and aging structures continue to reflect decades of economic decline. Still, Cairo's story demonstrates how dramatically fortunes can change. Once envisioned as a future giant of the Midwest, it now serves as a cautionary example of what happens when economic engines disappear faster than new ones can replace them. From a river city that never achieved its promised future, we move to a former mining community still searching for a new identity. Number 19. Welch, West Virginia. Nestled deep within the Appalachian Mountains, Welch was once one of America's coal capitals. During the early 20th century, the surrounding coal fields generated enormous wealth and attracted thousands of workers from across the country. Today, much of that economic foundation has disappeared. The population has fallen dramatically over the decades and now sits below 2,000 residents. Many younger adults leave after graduation, creating an aging population structure that puts additional strain on local services. The local economy remains heavily influenced by the legacy of coal. While some mining activity continues throughout the region, employment opportunities have become increasingly limited. Healthcare, education, government services, and small retail operations now represent major sources of local employment. Income levels remain significantly below national averages. Housing prices are affordable, but affordability alone isn't enough to attract new residents when job opportunities remain scarce. Many homes in the area require extensive maintenance, reflecting years of economic hardship. The mountainous geography that once helped create the town's prosperity now creates challenges. Limited transportation access can discourage business investment and complicate economic diversification efforts. Despite these difficulties, Welch remains a community with strong local pride. Residents often speak passionately about the area's natural beauty and cultural heritage. Yet economic realities continue to make long-term growth difficult. As coal country struggles to reinvent itself, Our next location faces challenges rooted in a very different industry. Number 18, Blythe, California. Located near the Arizona border along Interstate 10, Blythe sits in one of the hottest regions of the United States. Summer temperatures routinely exceed 110 degrees Fahrenheit, creating unique challenges for residents and businesses alike. Blythe has a population of around 18,000 residents and serves as a regional center for agriculture and government services. The town's economy depends heavily on farming operations, correctional facilities, and public sector employment. Demographically, Blythe has a relatively young population compared to many struggling rural communities. However, median household incomes remain below California averages, and many residents face financial pressures related to housing, utilities, and transportation. One major concern is geographic isolation. The nearest large metropolitan areas are hours away. This limits access to advanced healthcare, higher education opportunities, specialized employment, and major retail options. Residents often travel long distances for services that people in larger cities take for granted. Infrastructure concerns also exist. Extreme heat places additional stress on roads, power systems, and public facilities. Maintaining infrastructure in harsh desert conditions can be costly, particularly for smaller communities with limited tax bases. While Blythe remains an important regional hub, its combination of economic limitations, isolation, and environmental challenges keeps it on many lists of difficult places to live. Leaving the California desert behind, we head toward a community where population loss has become an almost permanent condition. Number 17, Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Pine Bluff was once one of Arkansas's most important industrial centers. Timber, agriculture, manufacturing, and transportation helped support a thriving local economy throughout much of the 20th century. The city currently has a population of approximately 40,000 residents, but that figure continues a long-term downward trend. Many younger residents relocate to larger cities such as Little Rock, Dallas, Houston, or Memphis in search of better employment opportunities. The median household income remains well below the national average, and poverty rates remain among the highest for cities of comparable size. Economic challenges affect many aspects of community life, including housing conditions, retail development, and public services. Infrastructure tells part of the story. While certain sections of the city have seen investment and improvement, other neighborhoods struggle with aging housing stock, deteriorating commercial properties, and underutilized industrial facilities. Demographically, Pine Bluff has a diverse population with a strong cultural heritage. Community organizations and local leaders continue working to attract investment and improve quality of life. However, reversing decades of economic decline remains an enormous challenge. The city still benefits from educational institutions, healthcare facilities, and transportation connections, but those assets alone have not fully offset population loss and economic stagnation. From Arkansas, we travel to a town where remoteness itself has become one of the biggest obstacles to growth. Number 16, Gallup, New Mexico. Known as the heart of Indian country, Gallup sits along historic Route 66 in western New Mexico. The city serves as an important commercial center for numerous surrounding communities and Native American nations. Gallup's population of roughly 22,000 residents reflects a unique demographic mix shaped by centuries of cultural history. The city possesses deep traditions and significant historical importance throughout the Southwest. However, economic challenges persist. Median incomes remain substantially below national averages, and many residents face limited employment options. Healthcare access, housing quality, and educational outcomes continue to present challenges for local leaders. Infrastructure improvements have occurred in recent years, but maintaining roads, utilities, and public facilities across a large geographic service area remains expensive. The region's vast distances can make everyday activities more complicated than they are in larger urban areas. Economic development efforts continue to focus on tourism, healthcare, retail services, logistics, and cultural attractions. Yet geographic isolation limits growth potential compared to communities located closer to major metropolitan markets. Gallup remains a fascinating place with extraordinary cultural significance. Nevertheless, for people seeking abundant employment opportunities, rapid economic growth, and extensive urban amenities, daily life can be considerably more challenging than in many other parts of the country. And now that we've covered numbers 20 through 16, the countdown starts getting even more surprising. Coming up next are towns where shrinking populations, aging infrastructure, and uncertain economic futures combine to create some of the toughest living conditions in America heading into 2026. Number 15, Clarksdale, Mississippi. Few towns in America have contributed more to music history than Clarksdale. Often called the birthplace of the blues, this Mississippi Delta community attracts visitors from around the world who want to experience its rich cultural heritage. Yet behind the tourism brochures lies a city facing significant economic and demographic challenges. Clarksdale's population has steadily declined for decades and now sits at roughly 14,000 residents. Like many Delta communities, it has struggled to replace agricultural and manufacturing jobs that disappeared over the years. The result has been a shrinking tax base and fewer opportunities for younger generations. Median household income remains well below the national average, and many neighborhoods contain aging homes that require substantial maintenance. While some areas have benefited from heritage tourism investments, those improvements have not always spread evenly throughout the city. The population is older than it once was, partly because many younger adults leave for larger cities such as Memphis, Jackson, Dallas, or Atlanta. This creates a cycle where businesses find it harder to attract workers while schools face declining enrollment. Still, Clarksdale's cultural significance gives it advantages many struggling towns lack. Music tourism continues bringing visitors into the area. The question for local leaders is whether that cultural appeal can generate enough long-term economic growth to reverse decades of decline. From the Mississippi Delta, we head west to a city where economic uncertainty has become a defining feature of daily life. Number 14, El Centro, California. Located in California's Imperial Valley near the Mexican border, El Centro occupies one of the country's most unique agricultural regions. Massive farming operations help feed millions of Americans, but that agricultural success has not always translated into prosperity for local residents. With a population of approximately 45,000 people, El Centro serves as the region's governmental and commercial hub. Despite this role, unemployment rates have historically remained among the highest in the nation, even during periods of broader economic growth. The city's demographics skew relatively young compared to many struggling communities. Families make up a large share of the population, and schools serve a significant number of children and teenagers. However, lower wage levels and limited economic diversification create financial challenges for many households. The desert climate presents additional obstacles. Summer temperatures frequently reach extreme levels, increasing energy costs and placing stress on infrastructure. Maintaining roads, utilities, and public facilities in such conditions requires substantial investment. Housing remains more affordable than in many parts of California, but lower wages often offset that advantage. For residents seeking career advancement, options outside agriculture, healthcare, education, and government services can be limited. As we continue our countdown, the next town offers a reminder that beautiful scenery alone cannot guarantee economic success. Number 13, Eureka, California. Surrounded by towering redwood forests and dramatic Pacific coastline, Eureka might appear to be an ideal place to live. The scenery is breathtaking, the climate is mild, and outdoor recreation opportunities are abundant. Yet the city's isolation creates significant economic limitations. Located far from California's major population centers, Eureka faces challenges attracting large employers and sustaining diverse industries. The population hovers around 27,000 residents, and growth has remained relatively slow. Historically, the economy relied heavily on logging, fishing, and maritime industries. While those sectors still exist, they no longer provide the level of employment they once did. Tourism, healthcare, education, and government services now play increasingly important roles. Income levels lag behind many other California communities. Housing costs, meanwhile, have risen substantially, creating affordability concerns despite the region's modest wages. This mismatch has become one of the city's most persistent challenges. The age distribution is also changing. Retirees are attracted to the natural beauty and slower pace of life, while many younger residents relocate to larger metropolitan areas for broader career opportunities. The next location shares some similarities with Eureka, a proud history, a beautiful setting, and a difficult economic reality. Number 12, Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Few American cities symbolize industrial rise and decline quite like Johnstown. Once powered by steel production and manufacturing, the city played a major role in America's industrial expansion during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Today, Johnstown's population sits below 18,000 residents, a fraction of its historic peak. Decades of industrial contraction left lasting economic scars that continue to shape the community. The city's median age is higher than the national average, reflecting years of outmigration among younger residents. Many graduates leave in search of careers unavailable within the local economy. While healthcare, education, and government employment provide stability, they have not fully replaced the economic impact of heavy industry. Infrastructure remains a mixed picture. Some historic districts have seen revitalization efforts, while other areas continue to struggle with vacant properties and aging buildings. Maintaining public services becomes increasingly difficult when population and tax revenues decline simultaneously. Johnstown possesses strong community pride and a fascinating history. However, attracting new residents and businesses remains one of the region's greatest challenges as it competes against faster-growing metropolitan areas. Our next stop takes us deep into the American Southwest, where distance itself has become one of the biggest obstacles to prosperity. Number 11, Farmington, New Mexico. Farmington sits in the Four Corners region, where New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, and Colorado meet. For decades, the city benefited from energy production, including oil, natural gas, and coal-related industries. With a population of roughly 46,000 residents, Farmington is one of the larger communities on this list. Yet size alone does not guarantee economic security. The region's dependence on energy markets has created periods of boom and bust that affect everything from employment to housing demand. The city's demographics include a mix of longtime residents, Native American communities, and workers connected to the energy sector. While median incomes are higher than some towns on this countdown, economic uncertainty remains a significant concern. Infrastructure generally performs better than in many struggling communities, but geographic isolation limits growth opportunities. Major metropolitan areas are hundreds of miles away, making it harder to attract corporate investment and specialized industries. Healthcare and educational access have improved over time, but residents still face challenges obtaining certain specialized services without traveling long distances. Younger professionals often relocate to larger cities, offering broader career options and urban amenities. Healthcare and educational access have improved over time, but residents still face challenges obtaining certain specialized services without traveling long distances. Younger professionals often relocate to larger cities, offering broader career options and urban amenities. Farmington continues working to diversify beyond energy production, but the transition has proven difficult. As traditional industries evolve, the city faces important questions about what its economic future will look like over the next decade. And now we've reached the halfway point of our countdown. Coming up next are towns where shrinking populations, aging infrastructure, and limited economic opportunities become even more pronounced. Several of the remaining locations were once regional powerhouses, making their current struggles all the more surprising. Number 10, Flint, Michigan. Few cities in America have experienced a more dramatic reversal of fortune than Flint. Once a thriving center of automobile manufacturing, Flint helped build the American middle class during the 20th century. General Motors employed tens of thousands of workers here, and the city became a symbol of industrial success. Today, Flint continues to face the consequences of decades of manufacturing decline. The population has fallen from nearly 200,000 residents at its peak to fewer than 80,000. Entire neighborhoods have seen significant population loss, leaving behind vacant lots and abandoned properties. Economic challenges remain substantial, while healthcare, education, logistics, and some manufacturing jobs still support the local economy. Employment opportunities are far less abundant than they once were. Median household income remains below national averages, and poverty rates continue to exceed those found in many comparable cities. Flint also continues to deal with the long-term effects of its highly publicized water crisis. Although significant improvements have been made to infrastructure and water systems, the event damaged public trust and highlighted the difficulties many aging cities face when maintaining critical services. Despite these obstacles, Flint has shown signs of resilience. Community organizations, local businesses, and redevelopment efforts continue working toward revitalization. Yet the city still faces a long road as it attempts to rebuild its economic foundation. From one former industrial giant, we move to another city where decades of population decline have reshaped the community. Number 9, Youngstown, Ohio. Youngstown was once one of the nation's steel-producing powerhouses. During the mid-20th century, the city's mills provided stable employment for generations of workers and helped fuel economic growth throughout northeastern Ohio. The collapse of the steel industry changed everything. Since the 1970s, Youngstown has experienced significant population loss, shrinking from more than 170,000 residents to fewer than 60,000 today. The decline left lasting impacts on neighborhoods, schools, businesses, and public finances. Many sections of the city contain vacant homes and underutilized commercial properties, while redevelopment efforts have achieved some success, particularly around educational institutions and healthcare facilities. Large portions of the city continue to struggle with disinvestment. Demographically, Youngstown has an aging population, and many younger residents leave for larger metropolitan areas offering broader career opportunities. Income levels remain below national averages, and economic growth has been slower than in many competing regions. The city benefits from its location between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, but attracting major new employers remains a challenge. Youngstown's story reflects the broader struggles faced by many former manufacturing centers across the Rust Belt. Next, we head south to a city where economic hardship and population decline have persisted for generations. Number 8, Albany, Georgia. Situated in southwestern Georgia, Albany serves as a regional center for healthcare, education, and government services. Despite these advantages, the city has struggled with economic challenges that have limited growth and opportunity for many residents. Albany's population stands at roughly 65,000 people, but growth has remained stagnant for years. Poverty rates remain significantly higher than national averages, and many neighborhoods continue to face economic hardship. Agriculture plays an important role in the surrounding region, but farming alone cannot provide enough employment opportunities for the area's workforce. Manufacturing jobs have declined over time, leaving healthcare and public sector employment as major economic pillars. Infrastructure varies considerably throughout the city. Some areas have benefited from investment and redevelopment, while others continue to struggle with aging housing stock and limited commercial activity. The city also faces challenges related to educational attainment and workforce development. Local leaders continue pursuing economic diversification strategies, but progress has been gradual. As we move further into the countdown, the next city demonstrates how geographic isolation can amplify economic difficulties. Number 7, Roswell, New Mexico. Most people know Roswell because of its famous connection to UFO folklore and extraterrestrial tourism. Every year, visitors arrive hoping to experience the city's unique place in American pop culture. However, beyond the tourist attractions, Roswell faces several challenges common to many isolated communities in the Southwest. The city has a population of approximately 48,000 residents and serves as a regional hub for southeastern New Mexico. Agriculture, energy production, healthcare, and tourism support much of the local economy. While these industries provide employment, economic diversification remains limited compared to larger metropolitan areas. The city's remote location presents ongoing obstacles. Residents often travel long distances for specialized healthcare, higher education opportunities, and certain professional services. Businesses may also find it difficult to recruit workers and attract investment due to the area's distance from major markets. Housing remains relatively affordable, but wage growth has not always kept pace with rising costs in other areas of daily life. Younger residents frequently relocate to Albuquerque, Denver, Phoenix, or Dallas in search of broader opportunities. Roswell's tourism industry provides a valuable economic boost, but relying heavily on a niche attraction creates its own vulnerabilities. Our next location was once one of the most important industrial cities in America and continues to battle the effects of decades of decline. Number 6, Gary, Indiana. Located just outside Chicago along the southern shore of Lake Michigan, Gary was founded as a steel town and quickly became one of the nation's most important industrial centers. During its peak years, the city boasted a population of nearly 180,000 residents and offered abundant employment opportunities. Today, fewer than 70,000 people remain. Population decline has transformed large portions of the city, leaving behind vacant buildings, abandoned homes, and underutilized infrastructure originally designed for a much larger population. The steel industry still plays a role in the local economy, but automation and industry changes have dramatically reduced employment levels compared to previous generations. Many residents commute to nearby communities or into the Chicago metropolitan area for work. Income levels remain below national averages, and poverty continues to affect many neighborhoods. Maintaining public services becomes increasingly difficult when population declines reduce tax revenues. Gary's location, near one of America's largest metropolitan regions, provides opportunities that many struggling cities lack. However, proximity alone has not been enough to fully reverse decades of economic and demographic challenges. As difficult as conditions can be in Gary, the top 5 locations on our list face even greater obstacles. Coming up next are communities where economic uncertainty, population loss, and limited opportunities have combined to create some of the toughest places to live in America heading into 2026. Number 5, Camden, New Jersey. Just across the Delaware River from Philadelphia sits Camden, a city whose history reflects both the promise and challenges of urban America. During much of the 20th century, Camden was a major manufacturing center, home to shipbuilding operations, factories, and large employers that provided stable jobs for generations of residents. As those industries declined, Camden experienced decades of economic hardship. The population has fallen significantly from its historic peak, and many neighborhoods continue to struggle with poverty, unemployment, and aging infrastructure. While the city remains home to roughly 70,000 residents, many areas still bear the scars of long-term disinvestment. In recent years, Camden has seen notable redevelopment efforts. New office buildings, healthcare facilities, educational institutions, and waterfront projects have brought investment into certain sections of the city. However, the benefits of that growth have not reached every neighborhood equally. Many residents continue to face challenges related to income, housing quality, and access to economic opportunity. Public schools have shown improvement in some areas, but educational outcomes remain a concern compared to state averages. Camden's proximity to Philadelphia provides advantages that many struggling cities do not have. Yet, despite its location near one of the nation's largest metropolitan areas, significant barriers remain for many residents seeking long-term economic stability. From the Northeast, we head south to a city where population decline and economic hardship have persisted for decades. Number 4, Monroe, Louisiana. Monroe serves as an important commercial and healthcare center for northeastern Louisiana. With a population of around 45,000 residents, it remains one of the larger cities in the region. However, economic growth has lagged behind many other parts of the country. The city has experienced population decline over the years as younger residents leave for larger metropolitan areas, offering more diverse career opportunities, while healthcare, education, retail, and government services provide employment. The local economy has struggled to generate the kind of growth needed to attract new residents and businesses. Income levels remain below national averages, and poverty continues to affect a significant portion of the population. Certain neighborhoods have benefited from investment and redevelopment, while others continue to face challenges related to aging housing and limited economic activity. Infrastructure maintenance has become increasingly difficult as local governments balance budgets against growing needs. Roads, public facilities, and utilities require ongoing investment, but limited resources often slow progress. Monroe remains an important regional hub, but its long-term outlook depends heavily on its ability to diversify economically and retain younger generations who increasingly seek opportunities elsewhere. As we approach the top 3, the challenges become even more severe. Number 3, Pine Ridge, South Dakota. Located within the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, this community faces some of the most difficult living conditions found anywhere in the United States. While the area possesses a rich cultural heritage and deep historical significance, residents continue to confront major economic and social challenges. Employment opportunities remain extremely limited. Many households struggle with poverty, and access to stable, high-paying jobs is often scarce. Geographic isolation compounds these difficulties, making it harder to attract investment and create new economic opportunities. Healthcare access remains a significant concern. Residents frequently travel long distances for specialized medical services, and healthcare resources often face heavy demand. Educational challenges also persist, affecting long-term economic mobility for many families. Housing shortages and overcrowding have been ongoing issues for years. Infrastructure improvements have occurred in some areas, but many residents continue to face conditions that would be considered unacceptable in much of the country. Despite these hardships, the community demonstrates remarkable resilience. Cultural traditions remain strong, and local leaders continue working to improve opportunities for future generations. Nevertheless, the scale of the challenges places Pine Ridge among the most difficult places to live in America. Our runner-up is a city that has become one of the most recognizable examples of urban decline in the modern era. Number 2, Detroit, Michigan. Detroit was once one of the wealthiest and fastest-growing cities in the world. As the center of the American automobile industry, it attracted workers from across the country and helped define the nation's industrial strength throughout much of the 20th century. Although Detroit has experienced a remarkable degree of revitalization in recent years, many challenges remain. The city still has a population far below its historic peak, having lost hundreds of thousands of residents over several decades. Downtown redevelopment has attracted businesses, restaurants, entertainment venues, and new residents. However, outside the revitalized core, many neighborhoods continue to struggle with vacant properties, aging infrastructure, and limited economic opportunities. Income disparities remain significant. While some areas have benefited from investment, others continue to face high poverty rates and limited access to quality housing and services. Maintaining infrastructure across such a large geographic area remains a costly challenge. Detroit's future appears brighter than it did a decade ago, but the city continues to grapple with the long-term consequences of population loss, industrial decline, and economic restructuring. Its ongoing recovery is impressive, yet many residents still face substantial obstacles in daily life. And now we arrive at the #1 spot on our list. Number 1, Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson, the capital city of Mississippi, tops our list of the worst places to live in America heading into 2026. As the state's largest city and governmental center, Jackson should theoretically possess many advantages. Yet years of economic challenges, infrastructure concerns, and population decline have created serious difficulties for residents. The city's population has steadily decreased as many families and businesses have relocated to surrounding suburbs or left the region entirely. This migration has reduced the tax base, making it harder to maintain public services and infrastructure. One of Jackson's most widely discussed challenges has been its aging water system. Repeated service disruptions and infrastructure failures have highlighted the urgent need for major upgrades. While efforts are underway to address these issues, the scale of the problem remains significant. Economic growth has also lagged behind many comparable cities. Although government employment, healthcare, and education provide stability, private sector investment has not kept pace with faster-growing metropolitan areas elsewhere in the South. Income levels remain relatively low, and poverty affects many neighborhoods throughout the city. Residents often cite concerns about infrastructure, public services, and economic opportunity when discussing quality of life. Jackson still possesses important assets, including universities, healthcare institutions, cultural attractions, and its role as the state capital. However, when considering infrastructure challenges, economic conditions, population trends, and overall outlook, it faces some of the most significant obstacles of any city on this countdown. Every community on this list has strengths, dedicated residents, and unique qualities that deserve recognition. Many of these places have rich histories, strong cultural identities, and people working hard to create better futures. However, the combination of economic struggles, population decline, aging infrastructure, limited opportunities, and uncertain long-term prospects places them among the most challenging places to live in America in 2026. Conditions can change over time. Cities that struggle today may experience revitalization tomorrow, while thriving communities can face unexpected setbacks. Ultimately, where someone chooses to live depends on personal priorities, career goals, family needs, and lifestyle preferences. What do you think? Did any of these towns surprise you? Are there places you believe should have been included on the list? Let us know, and thanks for watching.